Jesus used story to teach a lesson or message. In today's gospel, he uses a human situation in order to teach the scribes and elders a lesson. He uses the story which would be familiar to parents or teenagers. The first son says, "I will not go." He says it in an impetuous, rough and rebellious way. And like many with a similar temperament, he relents later. Naturally, he may have felt, why has it always to be me? Why can somebody else do it? Perhaps he felt, I have something else to do. And then he went away and he thought more about it, and he said to himself, my father is good to me. So his no became a yes. Naturally enough, his father was delighted when he came back to him, having said yes. The second son is a sweet talker, a smooth person who says the right things, is a yes man. But he too does not deliver. He may have intended to go. He got sidetracked, and then he felt it wasn't worthwhile. He said yes, but his words are empty, and there's no action. His father was counting on him, and he let him down. And Jesus asked the question, who did the will of God? And they said, the first son. But Jesus is identifying with both sons. And the elders and the chief priests are representing the second son, those who are close to God's word, who keep up appearances, who let on they're holy, but their words do not meet up with their actions. The two sons is a story about all of us. He's calling us to conversion, and faith runs deep into action, and lip service is no service at all. We are all critical of people who say yes and who do the opposite. We have it in all walks of life, and attitudes of self-righteousness disillusion those who are searching to be true to themselves and true to God. It reminds me of a story of a man who turned to drink. God and his family were pushed outside. And one day, while walking along and thinking how his life had gone, and somewhat sorry for all the no's and very few yeses in his life, he saw a bent, rusty nail in the gutter. It reminded him of himself and his life. So he picked it up and he took it home. And placing the nail on an anvil, he began to straighten it out and clean it up. An hour later, it looked almost clean again. Then it occurred to him that he could straighten out and clean up his life in the same way. That thought triggered his conversion. He turned around and said yes to God and to family. And today he keeps that nail cleaned and straightened in his wallet. Perhaps he talked the talk for many years, but he now walks the walk. And like the man, there's need for change and cleaning in all of us. We all can become complacent. How am I living out my vocation? Perhaps as religious, as a married person, or a lay person. There can be a great difference between what I profess and how I live. We all can fall into the trap of thinking, I'm okay, I'm doing no harm to anyone. We may be saying yes to the Christian way, but perhaps we're living our Christian life by saying no to selfishness and indifference. And to walk the walk involves courage, sacrifice, generosity, humility and compassion every day. It means being open to others and not being judgmental, and to let God's grace into our hearts. Jesus is challenging us to take responsibility for our lives, and in the words of Ezekiel today, be converted and live. Yes, he brought conversion in the most unlikely of people, and we are not better than them. If we think we're above them, we're only talking the talk. May we all try to make a difference and walk the walk and have the humility to change and make our today's no's tomorrow's yeses.